Hi everyone. I managed to get a bit of a gap in the rain. As you can see, it's not raining right at the moment. So I thought I would come out and get some lunch. And since this little neighbourhood is nearby, I thought I would come and show you around this neighbourhood. So a lot of people who used to live in farm villages that were rezoned like in the 80s and 90s, they all got moved hereabouts into the city centre. So there's a lot of shops selling all kinds of things here. This is a Jingpo clothing shop. So they sell water pipes, swords, musical instruments and what have you, just like Jingpo stuff in short. There's a lot of clothing shops, a lot of dye clothing shops, a lot of Jingpo clothing shops. This is the shop where Wayna and I had our wedding clothes made. This is Dehong Dai Nationality clothing. The proprietor's a very nice lady and very good at doing business. She sells all over Dehong, all over Yunnan. Her family, they used to be farmers. They were resettled here in the 90s or early 2000s, if I remember correctly. So they started a clothing business, first out of a tiny little premises, but then they were successful, so they've expanded quite a lot since then. Another wickerware wood shop. See, I wanted to go through there, but it's closed up right now. I'd have to sign in and what have you, and I can't be bothered. Here is another Jingpo clothing shop there. You can see the munal. That's like a Jingpo totem pole depicting scenes from Jingpo history and myth. That kind of predates their current. Well, the Jingpo people are Christians mainly, but they were only Christianized about 130 years ago. Before that, they were animists, and they've retained a lot of their animist beliefs. So. So just like a pretty standard market, there's a market in here selling fruits, vegetables, meats, all kinds of bits and pieces that people need. This is like Cheap Street in London. You can come here to buy all kinds of cheap goods. Okay, well I'd have to stop recording to sign in here, which I don't want to do right now, so we'll just stay on the main way. Oh, sugar. So yeah, like every time you need to go into a place like this, you need to sign in now. Yeah, because we had a couple new coronavirus cases, a couple people from Myanmar snuck across the border with fake papers, and they turned out to have COVID-19. So Mangsh's kind of gone back into semi-lockdown again. Ah, here's a traditional Chinese medicine shop. They've still got their poster of Chairman Mao in the background there. And then you can see all the herbs and such. They don't use too many animal bones these days. They still use pearl and shells and stuff. But there's not much of a trade in, like, yeah, rare bones and stuff like that. And anyway, that's kind of illegal nowadays, so... Thankfully, traditional Chinese medicine consists more of herbal medicines and yeah, different types of physiotherapy and stuff like that. So now we're kind of getting to the end of this street. It thins out a bit from here. Lots of clothing shops, cheap clothing, corner shops like this one here, selling bits and pieces. Ah, there's a tea shop here. Another cheap clothing shop. These places are quite important, the cheap clothing shops. I mean, like, there's expensive clothing shops here as well, but this area of town, unless you get something custom made at one of the Dai or Jingpo shops, you don't come here to buy expensive clothes, you come here to buy cheap clothes. And for some reason, yeah, this part of town also has quite a few sex shops. You don't really get them very often here, but, you know, selling various unappealing sex toys and dolls and... Yeah, these places are just kind of gross. Like, I don't see the... You know, like, it's supposed to be like a sex shop, and it's just like, yeah, yuck. Like, gross. So now this street thins out even more. They're renovating quite a lot of it, so there's the explanation there. There's a jewellery shop in there, another sex shop. Another sex shop. Oh yeah, they make rugs in here. Yeah. See, they've got those bags there. That's actually raw silk. So and then there, underneath the cover there, let's see if I can zoom in on that. Yeah, those little things there are silkworm pods. So they actually spin and make silk here as well as different fabrics and what have you. There's a fish shop, I mean like pet fish shop. Lots of old apartments and stuff like this. I really love these places. Like, everywhere you go in China, the older parts of town will still have a lot of these apartments. Like, they're not much to look at, but they're surprisingly structurally sound. Like, back in the day, they didn't make stuff beautiful, but they made it to last, you know? Solid brick construction. Yeah, these places are actually pretty good. I think these kind of places will still be standing long after a lot of some of the new generation of buildings have collapsed. And yeah, here we are, even more sex shops. Not sure if you can see in there. More quilt making shops. There's a lot of quilt makers on this street. Still more sex shops. And yeah, that's about it really. And down there is Mangshi Road, but they're still, I don't know, fixing the pipes or something like that. So that's blocked off for the moment. So, I hope you've enjoyed this video, this short look around a particular part of Mangshi. Okay, see ya.